Okay, good morning. Neil here with the Alternate Radio Show, my series Who's Here in Santa Cruz. I'm here with my friend Anthony Ruffo, who has a very serious message about what's going on the west side in Santa Cruz. So I'm going to stop talking. I'm going to introduce you. This is Mr. Anthony Ruffo, and he's going to tell us what's going on, what's been kind of slid under the table. Anyway, here's news about Westcliff from Mr. Anthony Ruffo.
So since the storm damage that happened last 2 years here on Westcliff Drive, they've blocked it off to repair it and all that.
Right.
But there's been we found there's been a back, I guess you could say, underlying group of people who've been works within the city and city managers, people, and a biking group that have been pushing a pilot one-way program here in Santa Cruz for 2 years. And in the pilot, if they get it passed, they get a $3.5 million grant to do all this stuff. And if you go to the Santa Cruz Board Rider page, you'll see all the plans that they had, and all this was all going down under the noses of the residents here in the side of town, and really the awareness of most of the people in Santa Cruz had no idea.
No, I had no idea.
And yeah, you live on the east side of town, so
Yeah.
the point being is it's shady business, and really they're not giving the people to say if they want it or not. There's so many arguments and stuff, but really the end of the line, the mapping they show that what they're going to do is block off streets over here, add roundabouts, cut just direct traffic starting from Dream Inn. The one way is going to go all the way up to Natural Bridges, and it's just ridiculous because their side will say there's not enough room. Their side will say it's dangerous to ride a bike on Westcliff, or even there's not enough room for walking, or they'll say the cars cause vibrations that are helping the cliff erode, and it's bad for the ecology or the environment. And all those things are just maybe have some truth to it. Maybe that most of them can be rebutted, and really the bottom line is the cars who use Westcliff Drive, a lot of them are residents that live on the upper part of it, and they use it as a thoroughway to get back downtown. And if it was turned into a one-way, and especially the planning, it'd be a traffic nightmare on Bay Street, and all the tourists who are going to get caught in this, we call it the slow roll parade, is what'll happen. It'll just be a nightmare, and there's no reason for it. The word inclusion means including everybody, and what they're trying to do is slowly get cars eliminated from Westcliff altogether. That's the plan. And we're here to say, first of all, we don't want it.
Yeah.
We did a survey so what happened was I was going to all these meetings. They had all these public meetings about the 50-year vision. But in that meetings, you could already see the direction they were going. And I'm just sitting there going, wait a minute, like Bob Pearson to be there raising his hand, hey, no, your stats are wrong, And they were just ignoring the people in there who wanted a two-way. And,
right.
And a lot of them were older residents who don't surf, and so you could see the agenda in the direction they were pushing this thing from the get-go. They had no, the EMC survey, you go on there and you can see how one-sided it is. It's pushing every answer towards the one-way. And then when they get, for example, they get to, they've asked the question about 4 times, and then they get to a spot where they show a picture of two-way, and it's actually a photograph looking from the car plot towards the lighthouse, and it's just like 2 cars. It's a cloudy day. There's no one around. It's just a real ditchy looking picture. Would you run it like this, and then you flip the page, or like this, and it's an artist's sketch of birds chirping, a one-way. There's people up everywhere, people using the bike thing,
yeah.
car, and I just go, oh my God, this is like so bad. It's so ridiculous how obvious they're being. And so this survey was done. They said 1,100 people. And of the 1,100 people, and these are their own words, only 12% were from the affected neighborhood. So 1,100 people, we don't know who they did, but only 12% from the neighborhood that's going to matter.
Yeah.
And so it just shows that they're trying to pull this thing off without notifying anybody. And so personally, when I was at this last meeting and I heard them say this, and then they said this in the last meeting, that we're going to put this package together to present to the city. The next meeting we will show you, present the package from all the work everybody's been doing. Well, they lied. They misinformed us, whatever you want to call it. They directly went right to the city with this package, and have these mandates and all this stuff, you want to call them, and ready to go. And so all the city has to do is approve it, and it's a done deal. There's nothing we can do about it.
Yeah.
But I alerted people, Shane Skelton, Santa Cruz board riders, we got together, and
Bob Pearson too.
Bob Pearson's been a huge part of it. There's we got a whole group together of Westside and Santa Cruz locals, people who are really opposed to this, and there are different groups of people to come together to go, hey, you know, the first main thing was people were unaware. When you tell them about this, they go in they had no idea this was even happening, or it even would be a thought, because in the past, when the cliff had a failure, they'd fix it and then up and running again.
Right.
It was an excuse for them to, you know, push this agenda. And, you know, really now that the community's awakened about what's going on, you've seen the backlash and the uproar and the debates. And now if they were going to do a survey, you would have a different outcome.
I live on the west side. You know, I live on the east side. I went to one meeting, remember the Loudon Nelson Center? At the very beginning.
Yeah.
They sectioned people off in different rooms and shepherding with different rooms. This marketing firm.
Exactly. It's called
Farallon Industries or something? Something like that. Some marketing group.
It's a research. Farallon Strategies.
Something like that.
Farallon Strategies is what it is.
And then after that, I never heard anything about anything.
You know, well, every meeting was doing the same thing, but they're breaking off in these groups, and in every group, there was people going, "Hey, we want a two-way," but they never were listening. They were never. So these, when I look back at it in hindsight now, these groups were just a show that this is what we're doing, but really the agenda was already set, and they just were slowly pushing the agenda that direction. I thought these meetings were about putting sand back here, you know, fixing the cliffs, armoring it, and owning the area that needs it, which is between Columbia and just past Finger Bowl.
Yeah.
The rest of the cliff's fine. It erodes very slow. And the positive thing you take from the east side is the armoring that they did with the cement.
Yeah.
It held. So you could do that in that area. You can make the bike path wider. If you should see the sketch, all the things they want to do. They want to plug up the caves and all this crazy stuff here.
Right.
Then why can't you widen the bike path?
Yeah.
Why can't you? We're not here to say eliminate that. We're saying inclusion. Let's include the 2 lanes with a bike lane and the walk path. You don't have to even make the walk path there if you put everything in the street.
So how do we make people more aware? I mean, we do videos like this, and
tomorrow's the day of reckoning. Okay. Tomorrow is the day. They brought this thing up fast because they want to push it through, but they had no idea that they were going to get this backlash of people who just don't want it.
So this is tomorrow at the city council.
Tomorrow
chambers.
At 11:15 to 11:30. Show up down there.
Okay.
There's something else on the agenda, but we want to get everybody down there because these bike coalition people, they're well, you know, organized, and they're trying to push something that has nothing to do with inclusion.
Yeah.
They want to exclude. They want to exclude the cars. They want to exclude people who can't walk on the cliffs or ride the bikes, elderlies who come down here, people who have physical challenges, and people who want to ride up and down the cliff.
You know, I've received a bunch of emails with that from the bike people. But I haven't received anything from your side.
Yeah, no, it's because that's the point. That's a great point, because the awareness only happened in the last 4 weeks, waking up the city, waking up the people who had no idea this was happening, because the reason why is they never thought this would happen. And not only that, it's been business as usual. When the cliff falls in, they open it up and we're back to, you know, you got a group of people who are pushing an agenda. It's been pushed before the cliffs fell in, and they were looking for a way to get it in there, and then they found it. And the city planners are a big part of this. For some reason, I don't know if it's, you know, the real paper trail behind the whole thing, but what they're not doing is getting the real pulse of this community.
Yeah.
They used a quiet tone not to tell people, and used that 1,100 people as their proof that this is what they want.
Right.
But here's the big point. In that 12%, most of them didn't want this. They wanted to keep it normal, keep it a 2-lane road.
Right.
So in that 12%, that was an affected area. If you were going to take that survey now, you would have a different outcome, because you got people who are aware. And then to be fair on the survey, more black and white questions, none of this smoke show stuff. It's ridiculous. It's really bad.
So be there tomorrow. Be there tomorrow.
Be there tomorrow, man, and
at the
show
city
your
council meeting.
your
Hang on, this
true.
guy's going by.
Sorry. One second. Yeah, come down to City Hall tomorrow. It's one of the most. It's probably the most important vote or thing that's happened since they tried to put in a convention center here in the 70s. It's like this is so important that it's going to change the fabric of Santa Cruz.
All right.
This is the crown. Westcliff Drive is the crown jewel of. It's like one of the selling points for tourists and everything. It's like, why would you take that away?
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's mind-boggling to me.
Thanks, buddy.
Yeah.
Good luck.
And City Council, please, just don't vote on it tomorrow. Just let it.
Can people zoom in? Do you think is a Zoom?
Yeah, there's Zoom. There's
you can
everything.
Zoom. Okay,
yeah, and
fine.
you can do comments through that way. You can also put comments in today.
Yeah.
They'd be all useful and helpful.
Okay.
Thank
Good
you.
luck.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
buddy.
Thank you. Santa Cruz.